And look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! KO! Here's the cover.
Hey, what's up everyone, and we're back today with another video. This time looking at a tank that actually was my first tier 7 ever, nearly 7 years ago now, which is kind of nuts. But looking at the tier 7 American heavy tank, the T-29, a tank that honestly is aged like fine wine. I mean, even 7 years later, and this tank has never really been touched, not that I know of or remember. Maybe it has. I don't think it has in terms of any buffs or nerfs. It's still just such a beast. Sincerely, like, even after 7 years and tons of new tanks being added to the game, this thing is still one of the best tier 7 heavies and tier 7s in the game, period. At least I think so. Just the gun, the turret armor, I should say. The hull armor is not spectacular, but for tier 7, it's not terrible. And if you've been around the game long enough, this is probably one of the first tanks you may have gotten as well. I know I went up this line initially, and some may have made the same mistake I did. I went up through the Jumbo Sherman, so I got to play the T-29 7 years ago completely stock with a 76mm. That's not fun, especially as a completely new player. That was a harsh learning experience, I will say. But I've recently decided to buy this back a few months ago and play a couple games in it every now and then just to see what it's like after so long and if I can do a little bit better, which, yeah, we've gotten a little bit better at the game since 7 years ago. So right now we're on Steppes, which is a wide open map that favors your light tanks and mediums, obviously, but this is also a very good map for this tank because there's lots of ridge lines, and you can really make use of the gun depression and the excellent turret armor on the T-29 to really go haul down. Unfortunately, we are fighting tier 9s, but when tier 9s give you a side like that Concept 1B just did, it's not that difficult. And Obegus right now is here already taking another shot at us right there. Luckily misses. You know, focus the tier 7 heavy tanks because it's fun. And then we have this 705 who is not angling his armor very well, and we're going to just keep using, I'm pretty confident, even my turret armor against a tier 9 heavy to just consistently bounce this guy, honestly. And we set him on fire for the second time because that thing's not fantastic in terms of its fuel tanks and stuff like that being right in the upper part of the front of the tank. So nice result there. We nearly take that guy's entire health in our tier 7 heavy versus the tier 9. Obviously, he wasn't playing the best there, but good result for us. And now we're going to push the tempo a little bit, maybe a little too aggressive. We'll see on the moves. Can we get the Leo? It's not quite a medium tank, let's be honest here. We get slapped by something in the back. Trying to push up to this ridgeline. We get slapped again by Conway sat up there. We're actually losing this game right now. I think I'm platooned with Petty and Swindle in this game, and like I said, we are very bottom tier. But this is a heavy tank that I really don't care being bottom tier too much. Obviously, it's not ideal, and nobody wants to be bottom tier, at least not me, especially in a heavy tank. Light tanks, mediums, it's a little easier sometimes, depending. Definitely light tanks is easier to be bottom tier, vast majority of the time than other classes. But this is definitely a heavy tank at tier 7 that can punch above its weight. It's got nice alpha. 320 is still enough, even at tier 9 games, to make people be a little bit hesitant to just charge at you. You're still at tier 7, so if you don't play it right or get caught out, you're just going to get charged and taken out quickly. But if you are able to stay around teammates and kind of play that supporting role, and so far we've done that pretty damn well, even kind of being in the front line a little bit here. We've already racked up nearly 3k damage. We spot the Artie now. Put a shot into the Artie. If the RNG changes, don't quite have enough to kill him. Again, 320 alpha, you're usually going to end up rolling a below 300 now. That's kind of unfortunate. And now this game went from, oh, this is close, to, yeah, now we're literally just mopping up here at this point. There's only 2 tanks left. and we were just steamrolling them. As we look to probably get a shot into either the 704, he's still quite healthy. We have the APCR loaded because the 198 pen on the AP isn't fantastic on this. We snapshot at the Leo, doesn't go off, just derps to the ground for some reason. RNG loves me. And we're able to put one more shot into the 704 before he is taken out by Petty, and we finish that game off with nearly 3,500 damage. And over 1,000 assisted, just because where we put ourselves, plus some tracking shots, kept us up at the front. And we also got one blind shot, so 3,700 damage there. So a very nice result. Fun silver take, but that's whatever. I fired a lot of APCR that game, just because, you know, +2 is fun. So 2,000 base, 2 kills, 3,700 damage, and 1,200 assisted. So a very, very nice result considering the matchmaking there. And just showing that this thing, if played right, even a +2 situation, is a solid tank. I don't know if I would say it is the best tier 7 heavy. I would probably still go with the Tiger 131 in that case, just because of the DPM of that thing is absolutely disgusting. Plus, it only sees tier 8. So, yeah, there's that. As far as tech tree, I would personally probably say the T29. It's not a tier I play a lot, so I can't really say I talk too much on it. The Tiger 1 is also pretty good. It's gotten so many buffs, it is bound to have everything be pretty decent about it, minus the armor on that tank. That was an age-old debate, T29 versus Tiger 1. If you want armor, T29, haul down. This is your go-to. Tiger 1, DPM, hit points, mobility even a little bit, which is kind of funny to think about because in real life Tiger 1 wasn't exactly the king of mobility. And we actually are kind of unlucky as we are on proc for our second game this time in tier 8 matchmaking. That shot actually looked like it could have hit the Type 62. I'm not going to lie. And he's going in for seconds. The second one does go in on the move. He has no chance of really penning us frontally. Even with, I think, Heat, as of course already makes its introduction, because we're the furthest forward tank, because I'm not going to sit in the back of the map and snipe in a heavy tank, regardless of already being in play or not. Just simply put, that's super boring in a heavy tank and not the way it should be played. So it's unfortunate because proc is a great map for this tank, but when Artie is in play here, this ridgeline play is super risky, and also when you have people up on the hill, you can get shot in the side quite easily as well. Put one into the Batchat 12T. If I can get shots into light tanks on this map, I'm going to try to do it because I've talked about this in so many light tank videos. On maps like this, they are absolutely crucial to controlling vision and the game. And right now I got spotted. I'm trying to play Artie safe as much as possible, I suppose. Just kind of using our top speed of like 35 kilometers an hour to run all over the field. And we get another really nice shot there in the Batchat. I didn't expect that one to go off at all, but if you don't take them, they never hit. So get one lucky, I guess, shot into the Batchat 12T, or second one into him. And now we're just running circles around with our great mobility, trying to avoid the square. So it's beautiful. At this point, I'm pretty confident that, okay, nothing too major has gone up on the hill. We put one shot into the Dragon. Obviously, you don't want the Dragon firing Hesh into my side. It could hit the tracks and do nothing, or it could pen for like 480 damage, which is approaching like half my health, especially at this point since I already took some splash damage from the artillery. And this Batchat really likes giving me his health. Unfortunately, that one does not come off. Our turret traverse isn't able to really keep up with him, and it doesn't really connect. And now I'm really worried about the hill because nobody's spotting. Nobody's spotting that Dragon, so he's just sat up there chilling, and that's why I'm going to dive back down and stay out of line of sight of that guy and whatever else could be up there, because they're not spotting what is on that back slope on their side. And you can't really do that unless you charge up and over the top of the hill, which is pretty much suicide anyways. because you could just get farmed from their side of the field. So at this point, I'm just going to take a little bit of a risk here, aim a shot on the T-29. Their T-29 does come off. And right now, this has been a pretty good result. It's only +1 matchmaking as we get our, I think, first kill of the game there on their T-29. Finish him off. And of course, as soon as this guy gets spotted, I'm immediately like, oh, gotta kill it. Put a shot into it. And somebody else finishes us off. So that's a fantastic result, because now we can just control this ridgeline all the live long day. And I only have to worry about really somebody shooting me in the side. And it looks like somebody is trying to do that right now. And we actually get shot from the left side. I believe the Jagdpanther actually shot my turret. It is the issue when you're fighting playing these haul down tanks. It's very tempting just to sit there and just have your turret visible to anybody and just try to bounce shots all day. But on a map as wide as Proc, it's going to be super, super hard to keep the turret in the same direction as everybody on the enemy team. And sure enough, there we were facing most of their tanks on the railroad tracks, which is where I think they're all at. There's a lot of TDs, 4 of them. But there's always bound to be at least one guy some other place who has a shot on your big, wide turret, basically facing the opposite way of him. So take an unnecessary kind of shot there. And now I'm taking some blind shots. Naturally, we do crit hit somebody. It's a pretty obvious camping location, or sniping location. Not really camping, I guess, but on one of their TDs, sat back there. Unfortunately, don't get damaged, but that's okay. We know at least there's still people back there, and that's still good information to know. Regardless, we didn't actually get any damage of it, so information is always good, helping win, honestly. And right now, I'm trying to get rid of this Dragon on the hill, just because he makes it such a pain, and in terms of he's setting up a crossfire, basically, whether he knows it or not. If he's not in that spot, then I can just focus on the tanks straight ahead of me. I don't have to worry about getting shot in the flank. So, of course, he's going to be my #1 priority, and that's why I'm just hard aiming here, just hoping for him to get spotted by I think our medium on the hill, or TD on the hill. Fortunately, he comes up in a spot where I wasn't really expecting it, and even if I was, there's no way I would have the reaction time to pull that shot off, so it's okay. Just trying to do a little guesswork here. It's going to be a bit slower paced game, and now we have the Jagdpanther 2 spotted, who is playing very aggressively, if that's one nice way to put it, I guess. And our medium tank completely panics and then kills himself for 1,000 damage. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one there, boss, but that's okay. I guess it happens to the best of us. I know that. I know I've killed myself plenty of times driving. So, and then we all know how petty driving is. So, sorry, Petty. We like you, bud. And here comes the Jagdpanther 2. He's going full on YOLO mode. I face Huggins, so he bounces right into my turret, thankfully. Takes some ramming damage, but we don't take the big shot from that big 128mm gun that is on the Jagdpanther 2. So that was probably the best way that could have ended, of us just only taking some ramming damage and then that guy bouncing his shot. So that's a great result there, regardless of a little crazy. And now we're trying to look at getting shots into our T-32 or Tier 8 counterpart to the T-29. A tank that also has godly turret armor, probably better turret armor because the weak spot is even slightly decreased, but this 105mm is really good at Tier 7. But as soon as you put that gun at Tier 8 matchmaking, it can struggle. I'm not going to lie. Especially against Tier 9 and 10 tanks consistently. It can also be a really good tank. It's just a very hit or miss with that T-32. That's another tank I could buy back and just try it again, because again, that was one of my first Tier 8s, shockingly. A couple of my first lines were the American Heavies and then the German TD line leading up to the Jaegeru, actually, which isn't even in my garage anymore because just I have no interest in playing that turretless TD, especially when stuff like a 183 exists. So not really don't really expect to see any gameplay of a Jaegeru ever on this channel. So it is one of my first ones. I do have a 10k damage game in it, but I'll never buy that tank back probably. So yeah, right now, rather than poking for, was that third or fourth time looking at that T-32, I'm like, nah, it's not worth it. Probably get shot again, and try to aim one on the LTTB. It's just making a hero run down our flank. I'm not sure how this is going. The shell velocity lets us down a little bit, trying to get used to that. Second one, though, we do lead the shot enough, so it does come off, and we pen him, which is good because it looks like he's just charging right down over here, and he could end up just crossing the train tracks, and then he'd be my issue, which would be not so much fun in a Tier 7 heavy dealing with this. So if I can get another shot into this guy, that would be fantastic, and we do. Taking him down to possibly a one-shot. Now we're a little bit of an awkward situation because we're kind of high up on this ridgeline, trying not to get shot. And the LTTB now is putting shots into us, and we get shot by something else. We miss our second shot there. Takes out our ammo rack, actually. Repair that. And now we have one shot, basically, to kill this guy. And we have to lead this perfectly. And we do. Take our time. Make sure it lines up. And finish him off. Making sure not to use the auto aim. Because you would never hit that guy with auto aim. The shell velocity on T29 is just too bad. LTTB is too fast. And yeah, that would be a terrible situation to use auto aim, because then he would immediately get around behind me and take me out. And the side armor and rear armor, and even the frontal armor, is not great on this tank. You did see the frontal armor was enough to bounce the LTTB if angled a little bit. If he's using the 170 pen AP rounds. But still, it's not consistent, and we'll get butchered by most Tier 7 and 8 tanks, and definitely Tier 9 tanks will have no issue penning the upper plate of the T29. And even most Tier 6s, honestly, can do that also. So, able to wrap this game up right now, hopefully. Just take out this T78. That's the only one left alive on their team. Put one final shot into him. Do we get the reload off? Not quite. So, really fun game on proc in a heavy tank for once, not a light. Luckily, the arty was taken out early, so that kind of meant we could have free reign on the hill and have our way with it as we pick up 3,800 damage, a couple kills, 1,900 base, and again, 1,500 assisted. Again, just putting ourselves in a place to spot, honestly, in a heavy, which is always nice. So, hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of a flashback episode, I don't know, to one of the first tanks I've ever played. Some of you have ever played. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you next time. See you. Peace.